Mommy, 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 mommy seekers. Hey, how are you? If nobody's told you all day, you're doing an amazing job. Thanks for coming over to Mommy Seekers International. It's a pleasure to have you. My name is Shantra Lori, and I'm so grateful to be sharing my content with you. Enjoy. Being a wife is a big responsibility, especially since I have to walk the journey of my motherhood. And because I realize that life is honestly perplexed many a days, I have to stay in teaching mode to make sure that I am doing everything in my power that's necessary to keep reinventing myself while in my marriage, to not stay dull, to make sure I'm being present for my husband, to make sure I'm showing up in my marriage in such a way that we are not losing one another. We're not losing the essence of why God even put us together. But that takes work. It takes prayer. It takes days of pushing my plate away and for me realizing that there is an assignment over my family's life and the devil doesn't like it. But just because he doesn't like it, that doesn't mean I don't need to be strategic about it and have a plan for my life. And so that is this portion of this moment that you're catching a glimpse of because in all actuality, our our intimacy is affected by our finances, our children, outside things that are going on in our world. Let's be honest, married with children content. It's the truth. Well, hello and good day to you, and thanks for coming over to Mommy Secrets International. We are talking today about motherhood and sexual intimacy, or motherhood and intimacy with your partner. And when I say partner, I mean spouse, your forever couple, your forever married life, okay? Until death do us part. I wanted to talk about how I have been affected personally by just the misguided turns of hormone imbalance, life, children, while I am still required as a wife to perform. And sometimes I feel pressure from the culture of this age to be something that I know genuinely is not given wifey vibes. It's given totally mom vibes. So I want to talk about that today, and I pray that this content is able to speak to you in a way that you would know that you're not alone, and you would know that there are things that you can do more from a natural and spiritual perspective to help you to move forward and to submit your body to your husband, or vice versa. I know my content is for more for moms, more for women, but hey, men of God, if you're able to grab seeds of faith, praise God. But I wanted to read something real quick because I am married. I've been married for 10 years, my husband and I, and we have had an opportunity to experience many things in our marriage. Even though I still consider us like a young couple. We are millennials, and one thing that I've noticed is over our 10 years, God has blessed us with 3 pregnancies, and one of those pregnancies, we had twin girls. Not only that, but in between the pregnancies, we've experienced loss. My husband, he speaks openly about his father, Papa Lord. He passed before we actually had our middle child. And then my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, my mom's mom, she passed before I had Josh as well. And that's our middle child. So there were moments in between that, and we went through a huge transition of moving to another ministry, another church during this time, and it was just a lot. I look back at that moment, not in retrospect to say that this is what happened, but this is how we are learning to live on the other side of what happened. And this plays a part in my intimacy with my husband as well. There are things that our culture would tell us that it's okay to invite in your marriage. There are moments where, if I be honest with you, it is just dry. There is no spice. I'm tired. My husband's tired. He's been working all day. He works 6 days a week, from sun up to, honestly, to sundown. And I do the same, sun up to sundown with the kids. And so there's this never ending cycle that we don't get a chance to release and to take those necessary breaks. Now, we're in a particular season that God has entrusted us with a moment without a break right now. We're believing and we're trusting God for that, but we know that our main priority is bills and family. In the middle of that, there's still things that are going on, maybe with our bodies, maybe with my husband's body. You know, my husband, he has psoriasis, and psoriasis is a blood disease that is found like internally, and it does affect your it basically fights your body in a way that it can mutate your nails, your skin, and then with me, see, since when I had the twins, I did have a chance to bounce back physically for my physical health. But what ended up happening with me is postpartum depression really, I was a victim of it. And there are still moments where I am doing the things I believe that's necessary for me to fight against it. The number one thing is I know I got to get out, get sun. A lot of days I don't want to. I'm tired. And I may be tired because there's anemia involved as well. So my OBGYN was giving me advice and natural things that I can do. And I already know a lot of things that I currently need to be doing. The biggest thing is exercising. But I am, my exercising is more limited because of the schedule that my husband works. So legit, I really don't have those moments to exercise that my husband gets. And that is a little frustrating. And that makes me feel like, okay, well, I just got to continue to run on fumes, because I know that's the next best thing for me, is to work out, to exercise. There are, and I believe I'm saying it correctly, there are some moments where your libido is low. And I just happened to pick up my Bible, and I just happened to see Song of Songs, okay? Now, it's after Ecclesiastes, and this particular book is known as a book that expresses intimacy between two people who are loved, who are married, and it helps you to see this mystery of marriage and the love that is created in a union, and how God is in the middle of that. And so I just wanted to read a little bit before I continue to go back into my spiel about my life currently. and how I am doing some things that I believe that is necessary. And I'm going to give you some tips of what I'm learning. And I pray if it's something that you can grab for my life, grab that, honey, and run. But I do want to say that this content that I'm giving in this special vlog is for marriages. It's for married couples. I am not giving any information or trying to help someone that is not married with more wisdom of how they can be pleased if they are not married. This content is for marriages, okay? So I was looking at, y'all excuse my Bible, I was looking at the beginning of Songs of Songs, and it was just talking about, before we even got into the chapter, it was talking about a couple of things that I just wanted to read. I thought that was very important, very special, very needful that we hear, because a lot of times we are so influenced by culture, and you know, social media is a big part of culture. Like, honestly, if we be honest, social media makes culture. Like, it creates a rhythm of what things should be. And unfortunately, culture is getting into our schools, culture is getting to our churches, but we can't allow culture to get into us, how we raise our children, how we parent them, how we respond to our spouses, just any of that. So I want to read this. It says, saturated with stories of sexual escapades, secret rendezvous, I'm saying that wrong, Rendezvous, rendezvous, I know I'm saying it wrong, secret rendezvous, really, Shan, and extramarital affairs. Today's media teach that immorality means freedom, perversion is natural, and commitment is old-fashioned. Sex created by God and pronounced good in Eden has been twisted, exploited, and turned into an urgent, illicit, casual, and self-gratifying activity. Love has turned into lust, giving into getting, and in reality, sexual intercourse, the physical and emotional union of male and female, should be a holy means of celebrating love, producing children, and experiencing pleasure. Because let's be honest, as married folks, sex is pleasurable. They talk about a lot of the benefits that our bodies receive, even from touch. They talked about that during the pandemic for different ones that weren't able to be touched. There's studies that are done by babies. If you don't touch a baby can actually die. And so there are things that we naturally experience having those pleasurable moments with our spouse. But it can be overtaken and overwhelmed by outside responsibilities. And that is the point that I want to hew in on today, because I realize that my motherhood is my priority in this season. There is nothing else. But I've also made a decision to say, Shan, you are a full-fledged woman, a full-body woman. So you have got to learn how to identify yourself according to God's will, God's law about you, and you cannot let your life be swallowed up by your motherhood. Motherhood is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful journey, but it's also a difficult one as well. But it should not be the leading factor of my life, because I'm a woman outside of me being a mom. That means I want to look pretty, smell good. I want to be this image in my husband's eyes, that he doesn't have to go looking for the desire through the heart or the body of another, that he got everything he wanted when he married me. But that confidence comes from honesty, transparent places. I just want to finish reading this as well before I get back there. So they said, yes, baby. Okay, I'm coming. Okay. It says, God thinks sex is important, and scripture contains numerous guidelines for its use and warnings about its misuse. And sex is always mentioned in the context of a loving relationship between a husband and a wife, a man and a woman. Okay? Perhaps the highlight of this song of songs, the intimate story of a man and woman, their love and courtship and marriage. Solomon probably wrote this song in his youth before being overtaken by his own obsession with women, sex, and pleasure. His father were anointed to be king. And I talked about this even a while ago. There's grace in kingship. There are moments and times where I think we all need that grace, no matter how high on a mountaintop we are, no matter how much we're teaching God's word. We're people, we're human, and we have feelings, we have needs, we have emotions. And I want to blow a trumpet horn even before, like, I'm not gonna get into, let me just read a little bit. This is chapter 1. It says, the wedding day. Kiss me and kiss me again, for your love is sweeter than wine. My husband and I, we not drinkers, but I heard it's okay. How fragrant your cologne. Your name is like spreading fragrance. No wonder all the young women love you. Take me with you. Come, let's run. The king has brought me into his bedroom. How happy we are for you, O king. We praise you, your love, even more than wine. How right they are to adore you. I am dark but beautiful. O women of Israel, dark as the tents of Kedar. That means that he had him a soul sister. Solomon was not playing. He had him a soul sister. Don't stare at me because I am dark. The sun has darkened my skin. My brothers were angry with me. They forced me to care for their vineyards so I couldn't care for myself, my own vineyard. Tell me, my love, where are you leading your flock today? Where will you rest your sheep at noon? For why should I wander like a prostitute among your friends in their flocks? That means I need to put a ring on it. Young man, if you don't know, oh, most beautiful woman, follow the trail of my flock and graze your young goats. And by the shepherd's tents, you are as exciting, my darling, as a mare among Pharaoh's stallions. How lovely are your cheeks. Your earrings set them afire. How lovely is your neck, enhanced by a string of jewels. We will make for you earrings of gold and beads of silver. Now, in our love, in our marriage, right? I believe that evolution in marriage is so important because you have to evolve in your places of where you consider that your love is resting for your spouse or is. When we say the two shall become one flesh, my husband, he uses this example to say that we're in the state of always becoming. Like we're always becoming the person that is necessary for one another. We are always becoming the image of what we desire more in our relationship with Christ, and from our relationship with Christ should be able to feed and nurture the development of our marriage, because that's what my husband and I, that's where our foundation lies by God's grace. But there's some legit moments in my womanhood that I have not felt like a woman, because I have been overstimulated by my kids all day. I'm tired. I've been running. There are things maybe that be going on with me physically that I have to end up telling my husband about, and it alters the sexcapade that I would want to have, it alters that. There may be times where, and I'm not going to really get into that because that's a whole nother, but there are things that we have accepted that God is not pleased with in our bedrooms. And I can't speak to everybody. All I can do is speak for me. But there are many things that, even with the law of allowing the woman to go through her menstrual cycle without being intimate, there are things like that could raise a red flag, or like, okay, you from the older days. But we have a cycle for a reason. So it's you trying to ovulate to intentionally become pregnant, or you just trying to set aside because you know that you're in a flow that is not going to stop, because that's what God created in you. So I said a lot, y'all. I've been talking a lot. But motherhood affects my intimacy with my husband. And I have to strategically find those things in my life. It's almost like a thin line that this is something that can't cross. So for me, there are many times where I know, because my husband is a man, full man, there are moments. Yes, Joshy. Did you give me a hug today?
Nope.
Nope. My cheeky. Okay. Me getting on the right vitamins, me working on my iron, me exercising. These are just some of the things on the surface. Me being honest with my spouse to tell him where I am emotionally, and know that what I'm saying is important. Like, we have to, like, women, our husbands don't know what they don't know. And a lot of times we're in a state of depression. We're very moody. We got to voice those concerns to them, even though we feel annoyed that we have to voice those concerns. We have to break our pride and tell them how we genuinely are feeling, because that's one thing that I know that I have to continue to work on more, because I would become intimate with my husband, but I'm not feeling it emotionally. Like, I'm just not there. Like, I've been overly stimulated. I'm done. And just to know that there's a pull and tug, now I gotta do something else. Those things have to have a deeper conversation, and I can't blame my husband for him having feelings of rejection from me if I'm not wholeheartedly speaking to him where I am in my mental health, where I am physically, how I'm feeling. But I believe all the things are important, and to make sure that you all are praying together. My husband, y'all, we've been married for 10 years. My husband has grabbed my hand almost every morning before he walked out those doors and prayed. I'm still knocked out. My face ain't clean. My breath is runt. But he would grab my hand in prayer. I'm telling you this because God has got to be the foundation in order for you to last, baby. I just seen a post from Tamala and David Mann celebrating their 35 years of marriage. Their children are grown. They got grands. Hey, what you doing? What is that? You gave me a blueberry, Maya. You so cute. I gotta wipe your hands. For those wives also, every now and then, if you gotta go to Walmart and buy you some lingerie or buy you something that makes you feel like sexy, do that. If you have to go to Ross is a good store. Marshall's is a little expensive for me, but maybe you could do that. You know, you can't go in Macy's or certain stores in the mall, but I was just even thinking recent, like I need to do another haul of, you know, me getting a couple of things that I feel sexy in. Like, one thing too is, like, when I'm in mom mode, I'm wearing the tights, I'm wearing maybe a cute shirt, but my husband is like, okay, praise God. He's not moved because I wear that all the time, every day. So be careful, okay? Yeah, because of the kids. But I pray something I share with you and something I said bless your whole life, and that you are going to start being transparent with your spouse in a way that this is going to start adding to more of your wants and your desires, because you're deserving of that as a mom and as a wife. You work hard, and just how our husbands need sex, we need affection. We need to know that we're being helped around the house. We need to know that we don't have to ask our spouse or our husband to help us with the kids. We are with them every day. We do this every day. So being sensitive to one another is part of a give and take. It's part of your love, and you have to know. I have to know what my spouse loves about me, and he has to know what I have to know what my spouse loves about me, and vice versa for him. But I pray that this whole thing has inspired you, and that you're going to do your best to look the part, smell the part, and to let your transparency be your guide, because that can lead you into a deeper place of intimacy, even in the performance in the bedroom. Okay? All right. God bless y'all. Thanks for coming over to Mommy Secrets International.
Well, this is my spill, and thank you so much for being a part of Mommy Seekers International.